Well, it's another day, another cruise disaster. Passengers are heading back home after a fire cut their Royal Caribbean cruise short. But are their passengers' rights being protected? With more on this, Michael Winkleman, a maritime attorney. Mike, thanks for coming by.
Thanks for having me.
So, I mean, the good news here is Royal Caribbean is giving passengers full refund on their fare and a certificate for future cruises. They arrange transportation. You say they handled this well.
I do. I sue Royal Caribbean and the major cruise lines for a living, but I actually think Royal Caribbean got it right here, so I would certainly applaud them for what they did. And I think if you compare it to what happened on the Carnival Triumph a few months ago, it's really a night and day kind of a scenario.
Well, let me tell you, every day it's some other ship, you know, some problem in this industry. And now the industry has put forward their own passenger Bill of Rights, which seems strange to me, but let me read a little bit from it to you. Quote, the right to disembark a docked ship if essential needs aren't able to be addressed on board. The right to a full refund if a trip is canceled because of mechanical problems, or a partial refund for trips that are cut short. And finally, the right to transportation to the scheduled final port or a passenger's home city if a cruise ends early because of mechanical issues. What do you make of that? Does this stuff go far enough, and how would you change it?
I think it's a good start, but I think you make a really good point that this is basically the industry itself regulating itself, and so there's a real glaring hole. And if you look at the FAA, which is so tightly runs the airlines, you have none of that. You have the Coast Guard and the FBI that have real jurisdictional issues, but so here, this is CLIA, a lobbying group, and the cruise lines themselves saying, well, we're going to do the right thing. The International Association.
Thank you.
Yes.
Okay, but the penalty for not abiding by this, apparently, from what I hear, you tell me if I'm wrong, I'm no expert on this, is that you don't have your CLIA membership anymore.
I think it's a prerequisite of membership is what I saw on the website, but yes, and that's a tough penalty.
Oh,
yes.
darn.
If you're not going to play with the big boys, you don't get to go on cruises anymore. So.
Look, what should happen here? Because I think people are just really frustrated with this, and they feel like, you know, I signed my life away. If you buy a cruise, you have to sign multiple releases. Sure. You have to say, I'm never going to sue you for any reason, no reason, never, ever, ever, ever. And then this happens, you have absolutely no control.
Sure. Well, I think you make a really good point, which is the passenger ticket contract. You don't even have to sign it anymore. And I think it really is a consumer rights issue. It's just like, you know, you go on Apple and it's click and agree. You've never read the terms and conditions. You don't have any right to bargain from it. And they try to use that as a tool to deprive you of your rights. But fortunately, the law does allow ways around that. And I think you're really going to see a lot of that tested with the Carnival Triumph case.
So what do you do if you're one of these people? And look, there are people out there who say, I don't want another cruise. That's not what I'm looking for. I want money.
Sure.
Can you make that plea on your own? Look, maybe I don't want to hire an attorney. Can I call them up and make the request?
You can. You probably won't get too far other than what they've already done. I mean, they're already giving them the refund for the cruise, so I don't know much what else there is. They've really been made whole, and again, I think Royal Caribbean did handle it appropriately. But anytime anything goes wrong on the high seas, there's a lot of really good lawyers out there, and that's the person you should best call because Congress doesn't have any power.
Here we go. It's an ad for attorneys. Michael, thanks for coming on.
Thank you for having me.